2.
All right. Well, welcome Facebook Live. We're also on IG Live. It's Jay Morrison, of course, and my wife, Ernestine Morrison, sitting here with Alice and Angelo Clary.
Yes.
Mother and father to Azriel Clary, who many of you have in this viral frenzy seen from the surviving R. Kelly interview on Lifetime. I just want to kick this off and say, one, welcome again. Thank you all for just flying in last minute. And first and foremost, I appreciate you, Angelo, for reaching out to me. So just to give some context to everybody watching this, this is how we're going to start this. So one context is that through a mutual friend in Chicago, one of my mentees, my proteges in Chicago, who I helped get out of the streets into a successful real estate career, he hit me up and said, "Hey, bro," he saw that I posted about my views on molestation, pedophilia, R. Kelly, the documentary, etc. And so he saw my comments about it, and my protege, I don't have to mention his name, but a official guy out in Chicago reached out to me and said, "Hey, Angelo Clary, the Clary family, they want to reach out to you." And I couldn't remember which family was which at that time. I'm like, well, who was their daughter, right? So many, right, stories. And so he went back and explained to me, and then he said, I don't want to give nobody your number. Are you interested in having a conversation? So my wife was in the room, and I said, "Honey, do you want to take this conversation?" Because we get asked to be a part of many different things. And we were like, yeah, I definitely want to hear them out. Like, why wouldn't we hear you all out, right? And it came that way. And I move off of spirit. We move off of spirit.
Yes.
We're spirit-led people, etc. And so part of the context I want to give for many people that follow me, especially from my real estate prowess and success, and as the first black owned real estate crowd fund manager of a black-owned real estate crowd fund, etc. But many people don't know that I left a very promising career at Sotheby's International Realty as a celebrity realtor because of my outspokenness about the community. They asked me to resign. This was in 2013, I believe. Yeah, 2013 going to 2014, Sotheby's asked me to resign. And I left because I felt that our community needed empowerment and I had a voice for it. After that, I was a part of and asked to be a part of by Anelia Wright. Her brother, Alfred Wright, was lynched in Hempville, Texas. And I met her at a real estate conference in Vegas. And Anelia Wright, during our lunch break, asked me to lend my small platform at the time, maybe like 30,000 followers. I was on NBC as a celebrity realtor. But she said, "I know you know people. My brother was lynched in Hempville, Texas. The news isn't covering it much. And I want to see if you could shed any light on it." And just so happens, the night before I met her in Las Vegas, I saw Anderson Cooper show this story of this black man found naked in the woods, eyes gouged out, tongue cut out, throat slit, and they called it a suicide. Mm-hmm. And she was telling me her family perspective and story, as opposed to what the police called it, a suicide. And so I didn't feel that was right. So I flew to Houston, drove 3 hours to Hempville, Texas, sat on a panel just like this, and just lent my voice and contribution to their injustice. Stood on the front line with sheriffs with big Texas Ranger hats, Black Panther Party with AKs out there, and stood on the front line and protested for justice for Alfred Wright, for his mother and father, Reverend Wright and Mrs. Wright. After that, I was then called, literally called by Spirit from New Jersey. I drove 2.5 hours to Baltimore to North and Penn, where the uprising happened for Freddie Gray, the day after the Freddie Gray uprising happened. I just drove there with no affiliations, no organizations, by myself. I grabbed rented a red megaphone from Party City and went to the front line as a real estate mogul and just protested justice for Freddie Gray because it moved me. And ended up leading a march of 1,000 people down to City Hall, and then was all over the news and all that. Then I was called again when Alton Sterling was murdered in Louisiana in Baton Rouge. I did a free bus trip, rented a bus for like $2,000 to do a free bus trip from Atlanta to Baton Rouge to protest Alton Sterling's injustice. Did I know Alton Sterling? Hell no. Have I ever met his family? No. Did I ever know him prior to him being murdered? No. But it moved me. Mm-hmm. And so I lent my resources, my voice, my platform, my dollars, my time to go down there, and we had a bus full of 30, 40 people to protest for Alton Sterling, stood on the front line face to face with cops with riot gear, snipers on the roof of the City Hall pointing at us, and stood up for justice in that particular instance. And my wife and I shut down a restaurant next door, standing next to T.I. when our organization was discriminated against when we went into the restaurant and they refused to seat us. And the next day we shut that restaurant down and shut it down multiple times till you don't even see a restaurant there anymore. So I believe in a purpose-driven life. To me, my life, many of you may know me for real estate or business success. You learn a lot from me, great, but that's not all of who I am. I believe in the unity, justice, and repair of our people. And I believe in following my calling and all that, right? So coincidentally, bro, you reached out to me. I wasn't seeking clout to reach out to you or whatever the case is. You reached out to me through a mutual friend, and I said I would hear you out. And as a father to a 19-year-old daughter in college, and as a 10-year-old, and to a man that was molested at 7 years old by my babysitter. My female babysitter molested me for a whole summer, day after day. And my wife, who was playing her story, went through molestation from 7 to 17. And so people don't understand how deep this is and how it moves people in different ways. And what I told you on the phone is that I know, we're going to get into questions with you, I don't know y'all truth. I know a short phone conversation we had, I know a lifetime interview. I don't know y'all personally. Y'all could, I give you the benefit. People want to give a celebrity the benefit of the doubt after multiple accusations, but won't give a parent a benefit of the doubt.
Right.
So everyone says all these things about you. We're going to address those things head up. We're going to ask you the tough questions. We're going to ask you the tough questions. But my point is as a man, if I can give a celebrity I don't know the benefit of the doubt, why can't I give a parent who's pleading the benefit of the doubt that maybe this man really is trying to figure out the best way to support his daughter? My daughter's 19. She's technically grown. She can do whatever she wants. She's an adult. But if I feel my daughter's in danger by any, I don't care if my daughter's 42
Knocking down doors.
and I'm 60. If I feel she's in a situation that is not best for her, I'm riding as a parent. I don't care how grown she is. And that's my love for my family and the way I protect and provide. And so I can relate to your plea, your plight to do the same in whatever way you all feel is best for your daughter. And one thing you said that touched me, as I'll allow my wife to explain why she agreed to do this, because we do things as a unit, is you said to me, you said, bro, you said, if he would just let my daughter come back for 1 week without him texting her, him in his ear, whatever, for 1 week in our parent care and our family love, and if she decides that she still wants to go back, I'll pay for the flight. That's what you told me, correct?
That's correct.
And so I understand that she may be grown now. We understand you're going to dive into how all this transpired and happened. But no matter what age, as a parent, especially a dad's love for their daughter, no one can understand that connection unless you have done that. I can just relate. And I'm willing to, I don't know your truth, but I'm willing to give you and lend this moment of time. I had a busy day today. We changed things around just for this. Someone said, hey, I understand you want to do marketing, but we got business to handle. I said, this ain't marketing. This is community love. This is leadership. It's my duty, I feel, to lend my platform, especially when I'm moved and my spirit is moved by it. Now, if my spirit wasn't moved, then, hey, bro, I wish you all the best,
We support you.
Go for it. We support you.
Yeah.
But my spirit was moved to lend a small platform. I don't even have millions of followers. But to lend my small platform, my voice and my wife's voice, to be able to allow you all to tell your truth and to shed more light on a habitual issue that happens in our community that we just want to brush under the rug. And I'm really outraged by the people that follow me that have all this molestation, pedophilia sympathy. I'm outraged that so many men cannot connect the dots of, I don't care how old she is now, this man met her as a teenager and was 30, not even 30, he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
Knowing the kind of game men have on grown women, let alone running circles on a teenager, and men have all these things to counteract and say and to rebut it. I'm outraged and I'm really disappointed and really disheartened and discouraged that this is the level of moral character our men, even women too, I'm talking about to the men, really move around with, that you can't even see. Like, there's no empathy, no sympathy, no concern for the young girl, and then her dad or mom was trying to ride for her, and then, so we'll get into all of that, but I had to say that and get that off my chest. And then, honey, please just share why you want to, and we're going to dive right into it.
Yeah, when you reached out to Jay, and we were all on speakerphone together, and Jay and I both felt it in our hearts, like, wow, look, we want to hear his true story, because to what you explained to us was the truth wasn't completely exemplified on Lifetime. And we want to hear the whole truth. And when we knew you were coming out, I said, well, we have to have Mrs. Clary come too, because a lot of the times, I mean, for me, this whole thing is about women and women's voices being completely unacknowledged and neglected, and young girls being completely unacknowledged because while everyone's focusing on him, for me, as a person, as a girl who was molested from 7 to 17 for 10 years, mentally enslaved, as a victim of child molestation, I understand the psychology. This is basic psychology. And I didn't want her voice and you as a mother's voice to be completely erased from the narrative while the whole world is focusing on him, because it's so much deeper than him. And I said, we have to talk to Mrs. Clary as well. And me, as someone who can relate to the mental enslavement, luckily for me, I got out of it, and I understood the path that I was going down on this psychological railroad. I said, okay, we have to speak with both of them. I have to hear from you as a mother. And like everyone watching, there were so many questions surrounding, particularly you guys' situation. There were so many questions because the edit that we saw, even when I watched it again this morning, I said, well, I have questions. I have some very critical questions. And like my husband said, both of us are victims of child molestation. And there's no answer you can give anyone to why it goes on, or why you allow it to go on, or why you don't say anything. I didn't say anything until I was in my 30s. And everyone on Instagram will look at me now and say, oh my gosh, she's so strong, she's so powerful, she's so confident. But that same strong, powerful, confident woman that you see was also enslaved for 10 years, mentally enslaved for 10 years.
So wouldn't tell nobody.
And wouldn't tell anybody for the life of me. And it is our diligence, and particularly me as a woman, as a black woman, to allow you guys to use this platform so we can hear from you as a woman and as a mother the real story, or your real truth. And like Jay said, we don't know them, we just met them today. We're not on anybody's side, but we're definitely not on the side of predators, molesters, or anybody who is doing anything unethical with children. I don't play that. So I wanted to hear personally from you as a woman, as a mother, as parents, what really is your truth, what is your side. And Jay and I both felt very sympathetic to this story, to the whole documentary. I cried the entire time. All 6 episodes, I literally was in tears, and I was fighting with people on the phone. I've seen people posting different things that I didn't agree with, and I was calling people out. Called Dr. Boyce Watkins, called one of my best friends, and I'm like, what is going on? What is the deeper issue here? It's far beyond him. It's far beyond R. Kelly. He's got his own issues, his own demons that he has to deal with as well. And from what we're hearing, he was also a victim of molestation. So it's such deep issue in our community. So we have to hear from you, and we want to answer the critical questions that we all have.
Okay. First, let me tell y'all, thank y'all for having us on y'all platform. And for this platform, as everybody look at the numbers, we could have been on 1, 2 million, 4 million. We get phone calls all day. We had phone calls ever since this broke. Why I think I made a statement on your page to say, you know, why not you? I think somebody asked you, why you doing this, Jay? And I put in there, thank you, but why not you? I'm also real connected to the universe on many spiritual levels. So with me, it's not about how many followers you got. It's how passionate and sincere you are. You can have 5 people and the whole world can hear you. You can have a 10 million follower platform and really nobody listen. So that's the difference. It's about knowing that somebody recognized something that from a connection that nobody can explain. And that's when the universe tells you, this is where you go.
Yep,
And this is why, you know, I told my wife, no, you need to get here. I was out in LA, she coming from Florida, these last minutes. And to the world, no, you didn't pay for my flights. And, you know, we jumped up last minute, and that's why we here looking crazy. I'm probably tired because I've been up and, 5-hour flight straight here. My wife ain't had time to get nothing done. She followed me. So this is where we at. Another clarification, I have 6 children. Azriel is the baby. We raising grandkids. We got 4 grandkids, 3 granddaughters and 4 granddaughters, and a grandson.
Yeah, 5.
So we got 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, we just had to go through a situation. We got 5.
Right.
So and we raised all of them. We raised them to be as a tight unit as my mother raised me. And anybody that know me from my city, Baltimore, in Florida and New York and any other places that I've landed and been a part of. They know that, you know, the other part that these ignorant guys are saying, everybody saying, oh, I would do this, I would do that. I don't have to say what I would do. You can look at some of the comments and just really reading what people trying to tell y'all, like, you know, not this guy, not that guy. Hey, man, you might want to watch him out. It's for a reason. And the reason why Kelly has been successful is our fight started in 2016. My daughter wound up going off with him in 2015. We're going to get into that. But I just wanted to tell people where the fight started. The fight started when the first real allegation that something wasn't right came on through an email from one of his managers, female managers, Cheryl Mack, mother of artist, DJ,
London on the Track.
London on the Track's mom.
That's his
Mother.
the producer.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
she, you know, she thinks she slid out of it as well, but we're gonna get into that too. So what people don't understand is I'm from the street. I'm nitty gritty, that's all I know. I had businesses since I was 16. That's stank. Anybody can check it. You know, me needing money from this guy was never on no issue. With the only thing we asked him to do, he offered a really good point of us, the money we was already spending and what we was doing for our daughter career, and him taking the opportunity to say, hey, you might want to learn behind the scene, because everybody think this music business is this and that and this, but when it come to touring now, is where the money at. Can she handle touring? It's
Can
a
she
lot that
handle
go
life?
with it.
Can she handle life on
Can
the
she
road?
balance
Can
this
she,
and that?
Right. Can she be
And-
able to be up all hours of night, go to
So this
shows?
is y'all
He
conversations
offered
with
to-
him.
With
right.
R. Kelly.
He
So
offered
hold
to
on,
be, he offered to be her mentor and she be his mentee.
We're going
And
to get
that-
into that. I'm just giving them a brief and then we're going to it. So what I'm saying is, this was a repeated emails, text for business. I'm putting up. I never asked this man for a dime. He never offered a dime. Yo, make this one song with her, but I want her to write a credit and tell me what you charge. I know you high, but let me know and let me worry about that. That was it. So we'll get into why she wound up there and everything else.
I do want to know this. As parents, were you guys aware of all the allegations that R. Kelly went through prior to you guys even meeting him?
Yes.
Were you aware of those allegations?
It's nobody in the world can say that they wasn't. Right?
You speak
And
for yourself.
and I'll speak on that because it's just like this. Your child go to a public school, which I went to, and you always got that teacher that may have this rep. But guess what? The school allow him to keep working at that school. So are you as a parent gonna stop your job that pay your bills and homeschool, or you gonna have to send your child to the school because all the teachers laugh and giggle and show that can't be true because all of them still hanging, they're still accepting him. He's not the teacher that's walking alone. He's as soon as he pull up, everybody, hey, that's Mr. Such and such. So your kid goes to school, the parents see it, and the world see it. So you allow your kid to go to that school. Doesn't mean that what they saying about him is true or not, but they have not alienated him enough to say, hey, he's a bad seed here. He shouldn't even be in our school. And it's the same way I use that because that's the music industry. So no matter what everybody's saying, oh, they wouldn't do this. If they wouldn't do this, how come R. Kelly is still writing for everybody in the industry up to the time that us as parents went forward, the Clarys, the Savages, and one brave young lady, Ashante McGee. We broke, the story was broke around us. Lifetime had nothing to do with nothing. I don't know where people get Lifetime, this and that. That came after we was fighting a quiet battle behind the scene. Nobody knew about. This battle was already fighting hard from parents. I fought my way, which is what I know. Flying in and out.
Oh, excuse us. Take that down. That was happening.
We tried. So flying in and out. We did it from our perspective. We stayed out of the media. We quiet. We don't kind of accept certain disrespect. So it could be another level for us. So we gotta stay away from that. Tim and them family, and I love them to death. They ready to fight, but they like that fight from my computer to this and that, and they'll fight and up front, but that's not their fight.
Right. So I want to stop there. So I want to kind of, you can correct me where I'm wrong. I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but I kind of want to translate a little bit to how I see it. So you understood that there was obviously the rumors around R. Kelly,
Yes.
right? And so you're saying that, and I get a bit of your point. So that's one of the big questions is like,
Yeah.
oh, you know he had these rumors of molestation of young girls or whatever, but you still decide to do some business with him, or at least consider, well, you did. You
Exactly.
just consider doing business with him.
Exactly.
And what you're saying is that if what he did was so true, or if that rumor, so to speak, or whatever that was, the allegations, etc., were true, why is he still so relevant in the music industry today? And so you looked at him as a viable, still relevant music person that could help your daughter, but did you understand the risk potentially of, because of those rumors and getting into business with him, right? Like, say you in the streets and you heard somebody is a snitch, but everybody still show him love, but you ain't got no papers on them, but you heard they a snitch, but people still doing business with him, but you go into business with him, you still know it's a rumor that he worked with the people.
Yeah.
So you do that kind of at your own risk, right? And so,
Exactly.
but did you have any of those reservations?
Yeah, that's my
that,
question. Like, well, some may argue where there's smoke, there's fire. So, was there any skepticism between the both of you?
Let me say something real quick. So this is the thing. Basically, me personally, I've never really was an R. Kelly fan. I mean, I got like a few of his songs gathered. He is a great musical genius. However, just to touch on that a little bit, back then, I mean, when all the rumors came out, like when the story broke back then, I wasn't really a R. Kelly fan, so I didn't really follow on it. Like, I didn't really know a lot about it. So I'm not sure about Angelo. However, I can only speak on this myself. I didn't know a lot about it. So when we met him, this, that, and other, the whole story transpired when we met him, and we actually had a sit down with him. And I remember us being in the studio, and because that was something me and my husband kind of discussed, and he was like, well, he was like, well, I don't know, because, it's rumors, this, that, and other, but, he wasn't found guilty. So when I went, my daughter actually researched and saw that, okay, this man could possibly help her music career. That's why she wanted to go ahead and go forward with the whole idea of it. And we were, as parents, like, I was totally like, no, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. We'll get into more than that. But my thing was, when we sat in a meeting with him, and I said, okay, listen, it's rumors going around. It's like, you supposed to be this, that, and the other.
You confronted him about
I
these
confronted
rumors.
him about it. And he said, no, there's no truth in that. I was found not guilty. And actually, before we had the meeting, I went and researched. Back then, in 2015, when I was researching, it wasn't a lot on there. I couldn't find a video. I couldn't find much. It was just basically saying that he was found not guilty.
But you were aware that there was a video. And that
I was aware that it had happened, but like I said, I didn't follow the story much when it broke years ago, because I wasn't an R. Kelly fan. It didn't really, you know what I mean? So I was aware. So I did try to diligently do my research and see, and we kind of discussed it, and we couldn't find anything. And he did make a statement like, no, it's not any truth in it, this, that, and the other. I was found not guilty, which was the truth. He was found not guilty. So we were like, okay, this, that, and the other. And I said, no. He had on some dark sunglasses. And I remember specifically saying, no. You need to take them sunglasses off. I need to look you in your eyes. I need to see. You tell me that in my face, in your eyes, so I can see. And he actually pulled his sunglasses off and looked me in my eye and say, no, that's not, it's no truth in any of that. And this, that, and other. And I'm saying that to say that sometimes when a person is sick, has mental, issues, they believe, that's their truth they believe. They don't believe they're a pedophile. They don't believe that they're a rapist. They don't believe that they're abusive. So they're convincing. This man honestly does not think he's doing any wrong. That's why to this day he has admitted no wrongdoing. So he was able to look me in my eye and say, and I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? So that's how I went from there.
Well, did this meeting, when he took his glasses off, did this meeting happen before or after you found your daughter in the hotel with him?
This was after.
After. So the meeting, he didn't invite you guys to. He personally called her and invited her to the hotel, and she went on her own merit without you guys knowing.
Right.
Then you guys found her at the hotel. When at that moment you said that this is a problem?
Let's touch back on that. Now, let's go into the story with R. Kelly. When my daughter went to, first of all, we're going to back it to that earlier that week, right? Now, what the documentary had, everything, all receipts on everything.
Okay.
While we was portrayed that part, we know now. We know what it is. So we know why they left it out. Well, what we believe is this, you know, it's obvious. You know, you look at it, we're going into a release, hopefully Azriel coming home. So who better to tell this story that was left out? You know, let the parents get bombed, let us look like we gave away our children.
Part two.
You don't you don't bring up, you don't bring a closure to nothing. You give all these, the family did this, but you forget to say the family didn't meet R. Kelly and our daughter packed up a bag at 17 and left. Our daughter it never failed, A student. It went to a very good schools in Florida. Her and her brother, something apart. Her brother graduating, she in 11th. They both drive to school. My kid's not missing nothing out of life. Her career is where it's supposed to be at as a young lady. They're doing shows all through Florida. Some of the top, Gary Williams, everybody, vocal coaches. You pull some of the top names in Florida, they work with my daughter. So, and guess who paying for that? Us. We never had nobody backing her, nobody dropping no money. This comes from our in-house as well as all our other children. So when that money, I'm gonna bring you up real quick. My daughter, like any other teenager, she's into music. She's 17. She has a boyfriend. She has a boyfriend. He's okay. My son, he played basketball. He played basketball with me. I play basketball with all my kids. So all of us run ball, and I met the kid, good kid. So I'm okay with that. Azriel have a strict schedule, you know, school work, her rehearsal time, then boom, it's your time. So I guess he didn't like that. Whatever reason their relationship went south, he cheated on her. We didn't know about it.
This is her boyfriend.
It's her boyfriend. Blamed her, never having the time, always in her music. Boom, young guys, this is what happens. It's a relationship. I get a phone call that Monday as I'm out at work. My son called me. Hey, Dad, you need to come home. I just got a text message. I think Azriel trying to do something to herself. What? Every light, I'm on my way home. Me and him almost get home together. I probably get there as he was opening the door. I'm pulling up. I didn't even get in my driveway. I went on the lawn and left my car, ran in the house, the door locked. Kicked the door open. She in the bathroom, submerged in water, took pills. A father has to watch his 17-year-old almost take her life. I grab her, boom, hospital, get everything done, call her mom, hey babe, this was happening, meet me at the hospital. So for that, nobody know this. Why that important part of Lifetime
So
was
y'all
left
told
out.
Lifetime this?
All this was out. See, this is all this is out. So for them not to make us look like we gave our kids away, that's the hurting part. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Lifetime for the platform they gave us to bring this awareness to this point where this is ready to be at an end. But when you leave out very important parts to the world, they have no clue to what we went through. They have no clue to how much I'm protecting my family, social media, people. You know how many people happen to send me retired people out of the streets are calling me, no, I'm gonna have to say something to this person and this and that. You got people that's coming out the 90s that we had a unity in our city. It's not like now, these unity, our kids now, they coming together because now my son got to stand there and fight for his family. Over you leaving out small but so detrimental information for my family.
So the first time you guys saw the Lifetime special,
we didn't get to
when
see
it aired?
Yes, because remember
Wow.
we went to New York to see the premiere, and they did a bomb. They did a shooting threat that we now find out R. Kelly did that too. You know, his guy. But everybody looking past all that.
So there was no premiere.
So no premiere. So we never get it. And I understand now why I didn't, because I would have went off in there. I would have went off in there because as soon as I didn't see that main parts, and it made me look like he met her at the He met her at the
Concert.
and then my daughter just left. Everybody in Florida, you know the funny part? Everybody in Florida know the story. All my daughter friends, they know, they looking like, what? Because my daughter never left. My daughter met him that Sunday
April.
because after the show,
met him in
and when she
April
went
at the
through the
show.
back like anybody, and they saying a 17-year-old don't supposed to be at an R. Kelly concert. When that happened, he got, I believe I can fly, I can do this, I can do that. Summer Fest. It was the Funk Fest. So that's what people don't understand.
Let me clarify some stuff. Our daughter tried to commit suicide. She got admitted. She got Baker acted. She was in there for a few days, 72 hours. They Baker act.
This is all pre-R. Kelly. This is
Pre-R.
before-
Kelly.
This is
This is
very
pre-R.
pre.
Kelly.
This is very.
And this
very-
was all in the story with Lifetime, and that's why we're a little upset with. I mean, like he said, we're grateful that they put the story out there because it needs to be told.
Absolutely.
It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's getting a few under people butts. It's getting the authorities, which we've been trying to do for years, finally on it. It's getting the victims to come out and go to the authorities because that was the problem we were having. For years, the victims who we've been talking to previously would never come forward to the authorities, which we needed a victim to get charges against, which people don't understand. We've been fighting this fight since it's been happening. However, me and my husband, we from the streets. Like, we don't do stuff out. We not out in the open. We don't need limelight. We don't need 10 seconds of fame. We are the ones who hit the pavement, and we out there doing things from behind the scene because that's all we know. You see what I'm saying? So people don't understand. Like, they saying this, that, but it's a lot of stuff that's going to come out that's going to show. Like, this stuff we've been doing in the background. Lifetime knew it. However, they chose not to air it. Whatever.
And
Okay.
everybody's perception is whatever they saw on
Whatever
the show.
they see.
And I
Correct.
do want you guys to be clear for our viewers and people. You guys have been fighting this.
Yes.
Y'all didn't just start fighting
No.
this
Listen,
around Lifetime.
no.
You guys
Listen.
have been doing the work.
Hold on. I need to say something. So at the end of the day, my daughter tried to commit suicide. She was Baker acted. She came home. The therapist advised that she is musically inclined. Like anything revolving music, this is what makes her better. She need music therapy. She needs anything related to music. I bought the tickets for the concert, which was the Funk Fest, for my husband for an early birthday gift. His birthday is in June. So therefore, I bought the tickets. Azriel now comes home. My daughter, the tickets was 3 tickets for me, my husband, and my oldest daughter, Isis, who
Which
you guys
is
seen in the
20-something.
documentary.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's 20.
She couldn't go due to her job, and we didn't feel comfortable leaving Azriel home by herself.
He wasn't gonna leave her.
Right,
It was out the
because
bus.
of what had just happened. So we took her to the concert. It's music. This is her life. Like, why not go?
Right.
So we get to the concert, enjoying the music. She's like, wow, I didn't know that all these songs were like R. Kelly songs. It's never, you know what I mean? They pull her on stage. She go, she like, oh yeah, I want to get on stage. She get on stage, she dance, she singing, you know, this, that, and the other.
She in tune to
She
the
into
music.
the
part.
music. That's her thing.
You know, everybody else
Nothing
up
wrong
there
with it.
dancing, but she in tune to the music. That's what
Right.
she do.
So she goes, you know, when you get on stage, you don't get back off stage the same way you came on. Of course, they take you around another way to go back. So we sitting there, we waiting. She finally come around. She like, oh, I met R. Kelly. Like, I sung for him.
How long was that wait from the time that she went back?
I mean, basically the show was over, and then we waited. It was like maybe about 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
yeah,
She
because
finally come
everybody
around.
started
Because
coming
we
out.
wait now, because phone, I think her phone had died or whatever, but we waiting for everybody to come around. So
And they
she-
all came out
No,
together.
your
All the
phone
women.
was
No,
Yeah.
but
girls.
it was a lot of people. Like the concert was like, so we're trying to find her. This, that, and other.
We had to walk to the side. The guy
We had
said
to
she
walk,
coming out
right.
the side, so we walked
Yeah,
to the
anybody
side.
who was up there is gonna come. So we go. We finally meet up with her. So we leave it, and basically we get into the story where she's meeting. She's telling us, okay, I met him. This is the number. Blah blah blah. And we're like,
I sung for them.
Yeah.
And he had me sing for him. He told me I sound just like Whitney. He used to work with Whitney, and he could make me this and that. He liked my voice, so I have his number. I said, you guys what? So she's like, I have his number. I said, nah. I said, he would have sent somebody around here to probably look for your parent. I said, you looking like you about 12, eh? He said, nah, I'm telling you. He gave me his number. I said, okay. So we leaving out. We debating back and forth. But she full of life. So I ain't shutting that down.
Trying to
Yeah.
be hard on
Because
She's feeling good.
hey,
so you wanna,
she just
you want
came
her-
out. She
Yeah,
just see this is the
right.
world don't know. She just came out Thursday.
she came out Thursday. We went to the show the next
Friday.
day.
Oh,
Now
wow.
that all this happening, now mine, upon signing, the doctor, we telling him about the tickets. He said, she need to be around music. She
Right.
this is
And we
may
had
be good for
paperwork.
her.
I had
we got
paperwork with me
documentation
that will verify
on it.
what
You
we're
know,
saying.
You got receipts on all this.
everything.
Oh. Do
we
we
are.
We don't lie
why-
about nothing.
That's why it's
That's
so
why
much.
Lifetime decided to do it, because we had verification and documentation of everything we're saying.
And the Lifetime, the jump back, we're gonna go back to Azriel, but we were the last ones to come aboard, like for the family, and the most sorted. But this wasn't our thing. But we understood that we was fighting a fight that was draining us without a platform. And trust me, we went to every region. I have extended resource to people. And when it came to him, nobody want to really touch it.
Yep.
In what ways
Nobody
have
wanted
you
to
guys
touch
been
it.
fighting prior to this documentary?
Hold on one second. That's actually what I want to hit on. And I don't want you to say too much. You gotta say too much. But what I want to connect with our audience, and I'm translating this because had it been, God forbid, one of my family members' daughters, especially, you're right. I'm not going to social media. I'm not going to the news. I'm not going to the police, bro. So so for all those who like, oh, why now, why, whatever, and y'all been fighting this for the last few years, and you're not seeing no results doing it on your way, you're going to do every way you can, whether it's come on this platform, half sleep, go on whatever platform, whatever. So I'm saying that as a former street dude, I'm telling you now, real estate mogul, fund manager, whatever, something happened to one of mine, you're not going to hear about nothing to the end. Like, that's just what it is. So we ain't even got to talk about, I was going to say it last night when Dave Banner was talking about you, because my wife boxes, and we had an event last night, and Dave Banner was like, I'm telling you, one of y'all put your hands on Ernestine, she going to get you. I didn't get a chance to tell Dave Banner, like, yo, somebody put their hands on Ernestine, she ain't going to have no chance to put her hands up.
Exactly.
Because you going to be done.
Exactly.
The thing is, I want to say is another reason why we took, like I said, we was fighting our fight behind the scenes. But another reason why we didn't really want to come out is because I feel personally, and me and him argue about this constantly, that my daughter is a victim first and foremost.
Absolutely.
And no matter, society, the world, his fans, people are brutal. They're cruel. And my thing is, me as a mother, I've seen stories similar to this in the past. And you know what? All they do is beat the victim down. They drag them through the mud. I did not want my daughter. They still was putting R. Kelly on a pedestal up until this movie came out. The docuseries, even somewhat now, they were still putting this man on a pedestal, saying, oh no, he's not doing that. You know what I mean? And they're dragging the girls through the mud. Oh, they want this. They hot in the ass.
Right.
They this, that, and other.
Right.
My thing is, my daughter was not any of that. She had a promising career. If anybody that actually really go back and look at her stuff. So I felt as though, unfortunately, society has a hard way of not really, taking up for the victim, especially our young black girls, like they do our young white counterparts. You know what I mean? They don't get the recognition. Like the stories are not really told. They don't get, on the news like everybody else. I think this would be definitely handled different if these young ladies were white, but unfortunately they're not, and that's why I did not get the recognition and all the support that it really needed. So at the end of the day, that's why we actually were behind the scenes, because I said, listen here. I told my husband, I'm like, listen, my daughter still has to live her life when this is over and done. I don't want people to see her as being, oh, that's that little black girl that was R. Kelly, you know what I mean, this, that, and other.
Right.
That's another reason why we did not come forward for a long time. And honestly, we probably still wouldn't have came forward for a long time if Asante McGee would not have said Azriel's name in the interview with the Savages. We'd probably be still in the background
Right there,
fighting this
only
fight.
giving small things that we need to put out there to let them know we there, but we not there.
Right.
We not with this one.
Right.
Jim, the writer in it, he could tell you
That
we are one of the hardest people to get a hold of, and we was right there the whole time.
Jim is
because
the reporter that broke everything
exactly.
initially back in the day.
And he'll tell you that, he understood my fight.
I mean, we've traveled. We've been to the studios. We've been to different states. We've been to concerts
state, like,
looking for our daughter. People don't know this.
No. This is what they need to know.
Oh, yeah.
We the reason that everybody talk. Oh, they would have did this. We don't talk. What we gonna do? It's gonna.
If you really was gonna do it, ain't nothing to talk about.
I could tell you this. R. Kelly from 2016, he might have met a father. But in 2016, when we found out everything and we really got into her phone and really found out, because mine, we never knew. We're gonna have to go back and go into some things that lead up. Let me go back now to. Let's go back when she got the number, right? When she got the number from the stage, and we left. She called.
So she kept her phone number, or you got the phone number
No,
from
he
her?
took it.
No, we took the phone number, but we made her call it. We called it. We didn't even call
We
on her
all
phone.
sit down.
Called on her phone, on her mother's phone.
And spoke to him.
No, he never answered,
He
and
didn't
that's
answer.
what we thought it was.
We
But
thought it
what
was,
she
we thought
didn't
it
tell
was
us
like it,
was
it wasn't a legit number.
that's right, because we use my wife now. So that way he call back, it'll be my wife's
Tip
phone.
him
right.
He gonna think he talking to Ass. Never called back. What we didn't know was he took Ass' phone and put her number in his phone.
And they,
So
and they was already
he
talking.
already had it. So all Sunday we thinking, okay, that's over with. The R. Kelly thing did.
He didn't call
They
back,
texting.
so
Right. He
Right.
never
They
called my
texting.
phone
He
back.
telling her, hey, don't tell your parents, but I relate. Oh, this and that. You know.
Right, that's
we-
gonna ruin it for you. You tell your parents, it's gonna ruin your opportunity.
So we don't know none of this
Right.
now. Now mine, we don't know none of this.
We'll find this out
So
till years later.
Monday, she supposed to be in school. He supposed to be gone. He
To
supposed
the
to be ready to do
show
another
down in
show.
Miami.
And next thing I know, she not home. We got a real strict timing.
And this is like
when
less
they
than
get
a
home.
week after she
No,
just
less
committed
than a week.
suicide.
We talking Friday.
I'm saying less than
Yes,
a week
yes,
after she
yes,
just
yes.
So
attempted
I had
to
to
commit
commit
suicide.
suicide
Sorry.
Monday. Got
It's
released.
a lifetime
Thursday.
just missed out on this whole part. The fact
Yeah.
that
No, they
and
had
they
it.
got it.
They cut it out.
They cut it
edited
out.
that's what I'm
out.
saying.
So,
They
yeah.
missed out on relaying this to the
Exactly,
world.
exactly to all the world,
Oh, yeah.
so they can understand. So when my wife, they noticed they cut it real good. When my wife said,
Stop.
"Oh, we was threatened," like our children. First of all, our oldest child is 29. We got two of them. They mine's not by my wife. That's both 29. And my kids right now, and one doing 8 years right now, finishing up a prison sentence 8 years. And right now, if you hear him call right now, and Dad, what? Who you talking to like that? Oh no, I'm sorry, Dad. No, I was just hyped up. My kids had the utmost respect for me because I'm not a friend of theirs. I'm my uncle, a great uncle, a father, a brother. I don't play with titles. You're not gonna disrespect me in any way, fashion as my child. We're not buddies. We're not none of that. I'm your father at all time. So that goes through all the way down from my girls to my boys. Now my girls might get away with a little bit more,
Of course.
but my boys, they know. And that was Azriel. So when people
She was a
saying,
baby.
yeah, so when people were saying that, so after this, and they going, so my son called. They go to the same school. Hey, Azriel Carr ain't here. She home yet? I heard her phone, and I couldn't get her. I said, no, she ain't
this is
home.
still 17-year-old Azriel.
Is that 17-year-old
It's
Azriel?
it's
This
3 days
is
after
3
the
days
concert.
after the concert.
And about
Not
5
even-
days after
two,
she...
really 2 days in a wake up, because
Okay.
it was that Monday.
Okay.
And she on the phone. I mean, we called her. So my wife, she get it first. You know me, I'm like, I'm the one I
Well, he
always
called
got
me and was
faith
like,
in.
Mommy
I'm the
said-
one. That ain't my daughter.
Yeah. Right.
Me and her argue all the time.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
say what you want. She ain't doing nothing. So that's it. I know she stopped at the store, probably picked up some girlfriends that she didn't supposed to
Stopped
take
at
home from school,
Chipotle.
Right.
and she loves
Sam's
Chipotle,
Club.
and that's what she'll do: take her girlfriends around, drop them off, and then go home. And that wasn't the case. Our little girlfriends, all of them have our numbers. Hey, we called them straight up. Hey, you say, oh, she wasn't in school today. What?
No, she was in school. She
She
left
left
early.
out.
She
That
left
was it.
early.
When my wife found that out, blew up her phone. She never called back. I guess after seeing that phone really getting tense, she knew she had to call.
Right.
She called, let her mother know, hey, Ma, I left school. I had to, R. Kelly called me, told me he wanted to go ahead and do a video recording of me because before he leave, he came back in town just to do this. Boom, I ain't have time to call y'all. I'm sorry, but I'm over here. You know, this is for my music career. Boom. My wife called me and said, hey, she at the hotel with R. Kelly. Boom.
We both
That's how quick I
left
left
work.
out the building. I ain't even say nothing to nobody. I was gone. I'm riding, literally saying, hey, what hotel? She trying to find the hotel. I'm just driving. I don't even know where I'm just driving, though.
Told I said, "Is it can send me somewhere?"
That was
Just
it.
Get there.
All I knew, it had to be around that Disney property. So we going there. Find
Right,
out.
so again, I want to back up for everybody. So in context, this is 2.5 days after the concert,
After,
which was a day after her release from
being
The
Baker
the
Act.
hospital,
Yes.
Yes, right.
which was a few days, 72 hours before she had committed
Attempted suicide.
attempted suicide.
And I mean, suicide so deep with us, it's crazy, and it's off of her. Because my daughter did awareness fundraising, cancer fundraising, where all her benefits for her show went to these organized programs.
Right.
I mean, organizations and everything. I mean,
She did a lot of
she had a
fundraising
best
for
friend
different
in
ways.
school that was a
That
white kid
that killed himself.
that killed himself.
Wow.
She made us take off work to go to this young man. I never seen this kid a day in my life, and I didn't want to see a child in a casket.
Wow.
And she made us go there. Do you know
To support
everybody
his
in
family.
there knew her?
Mm.
Couldn't believe she came, and just how much he talked about her.
Wow.
And because she took up for him because he used to get bullied. So she made him her best friend, and that's how they wound up doing. But he couldn't get over the bullyingness from school, and he killed himself. Young
Do
kid.
you know how he killed himself?
And how he hung himself
hung
in
himself.
this room.
You know,
Hung
I'm really
himself in this
shocked
room.
that Lifetime would leave this
That's what
huge
we're shocked
part of
about.
the story out. And as we're talking about black women and black girls and their voices being erased, suicide, for one, is a huge, huge issue. And I'm so shocked. And I'm really like appalled. Like this whole chunk of the story was
the
left
main
out.
part of the story.
Right,
They left
because
it out.
we see this is pure this is psychology 101.
Listen.
We see someone's already hurting, and then you meet someone and you think this is your shot. You
Yes.
think this is your way
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
So when
And that
people
was her
say,
thing.
so when people say, why?
Yeah. So before,
Why?
I
This is
I want to say this because I told someone I was going to ask this, and exactly what you're about to say.
Uh-huh.
I posted last night that we're going to interview you guys today, and the response I got back from someone was, and excuse my language, I don't even use the N-word. Everybody know that I call us kings and queens. But somebody say, y'all niggas really milking this and doing the most. Please ask them, capitals, all capitals, why they sold their child, and why TF, the you know what, was she able to land in the arms of a predator like R. Kelly in the first place, and why no charges have been filed. This was the response, which you've answered a lot of that.
Exactly. We
No,
already answered,
but I'm just
but-
saying that's the level of what you were saying.
And let me tell you how I follow, because like me, when I tell you I protect anybody that fight for me, I go through every one of your comments. She tell me get away from the phone, go to sleep. I don't go to sleep. Because when I see it, and I can tell you who that person is, I looked him up. He's you can't argue with somebody that don't exist. Look up his page. He no followers. He got one person follow. It's a made up page. It was a troll. But I say you respond back, say I'm gonna ask this question just like you answered it tomorrow. And
I'm a man
and
of my
said,
word. I'm
exactly
gonna- that's what it is.
Exactly.
Let
So
me-
for the person that don't even have a heart, or like me,
No
if you,
compassion.
no, not even compassion, no heart. What social media have became an outlet for cowards. Who gets on social media? If you're going to get on social media, why create pages that's
page.
not you?
And
See,
just
I don't
get
have
one.
nothing to hide. So if you look at me, you could ask me that question. And guess what? You might have had a conversation for an hour, giving you some understanding, because I don't have nothing to hide. I feel like what I've done with a conscious decision. But what I didn't do was do enough to protect my child, for as my family enough. I owe the world nothing, but I owe my situation everything.
Absolutely.
Because that's my child. That's my daughter. That's my daughter. That ain't the world daughter.
So
You know, so hold on. I'm gonna give you the
my God.
pack.
I really
I'm
want to
telling you.
hear. I really want to hear.
You know, because
Right,
it
right.
upsets me from the stupid comments
worry
that
about
people
everybody's
say.
comments.
You're right,
Yeah.
but when you got celebrities sitting there running their mouth and jumping out there, and shouts to Master P for going back onto the real and
Retracted.
cleaning it up and giving his perspective
Yes.
and everything. That was major big, because he's a major dude, and I respected him. We come from that 90 era, but the same war scars and the same thing he taught, that's what men talk. That's a man talk. But guess what? I'm not going to blow everything I have being a fool for a situation that I can't win. Because when that man be dead, nobody, no matter what amount of money you got, can make my daughter love her father. So when I'm sitting there in penitentiary, the broke my wife's heart, all my grandkids, they future funding and their passed down wealth, my small wealth that I'm gonna leave is gone. guess what? Nobody's gonna say, hey, what happened to that dude that killed R. Kelly? Hey man, let's donate 10 million for their family. That ain't gonna happen. But you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna all pledge on their platforms, for their record labels, for their entertainment outlets, and say, hey man, we need justice for him. Man, this was the biggest icon. Man, this ain't right. It's gonna be 90 million people there. It's gonna be an R. Kelly-a-thon. But guess what? Nobody's gonna bring up he was a pedophile. He loved nothing but kids. He don't have an open relationship with women. His whole fantasy, and he done burnt everybody around him that brung a family member around he slept with. And if you was men, y'all wouldn't sit there and keep protecting them. You would have talked about, hey man, this happened because there's nothing you can do. We found out a story where the woman was there, her father and mother was in the room with him while he was recording, and he had their daughter in there like he was going over some stuff, screwing her.
Wow.
Another room.
And she was 14. Like,
Wow.
so nobody, at what point is protection? But y'all keep on saying, oh, this and that, right? So this to all the other ones that keep saying, yeah, you know, the allegations. If you're a man, men speak out, man. We call it what it is. If the man is like kids, he like kids. If the man is a homosexual, he is a homosexual. It's what it is. It's no more hiding in the world. Our first thing I'm gonna do, if anybody wanna address it, say this dude, I don't agree with a lot of things that go on, but this dude here is a sick dude that don't need to be around nobody. Now bash me. I'm okay with that. But don't bash nobody that you're not gonna say nothing about, you're not gonna tell the truth about that guy. Because that guy, y'all know more about him than we would ever know. Why? Because y'all work in the same field.
Okay, Angela, I want to hear. I see you keep trying to jump in, and we can spend days and hours arguing about social media and their opinions,
Right,
but
and
we're
that's
not
what I'm
here
trying
for
to tell
that.
them. That's not what
I
you're
really
here
want to
for.
hear.
And I get that, and we're gonna go right into you, but it's not about social media though. It's about that's my connection.
I know. I'm getting there.
I know, but I want to get here though. It's like this is why I said, King, I want you to be able to share our platform, because I felt where he was coming from as a man, and as a man, when it's your responsibility to protect and provide.
Absolutely.
And now you have a dual decision to make. How far do you go in protection, where it could ruin all the providing and the future protection of your family? And everyone's saying, oh, you should be doing that. You got rappers, celebrities, all that. Oh yeah, I would have gave my whole whatever. Then yeah, how do you provide for your family, your grandchildren for the rest of your life while you're doing life in prison, while a guy you just took care of is being celebrated? So I'm just saying that I, as a man, certainly understand that tough decision in plight, and all that talk just be talk. And
Yeah, and that's what it is.
It's just talk.
It's just talk.
My
But
thing
these are real people with
Right.
real lives and a real daughter out
Right.
there. So you as her mother, as a woman, and as a black woman, speaking on behalf of all the other black women and black girls who are mentally enslaved, what are the next steps, and how are you feeling?
I mean, basically, like everything that went on, I mean, from this point on, we like I said, we from the streets, so we don't normally even, but we actually went to the authorities to try to get help. Because we kind of,
The authorities were sent our way, and
Well,
we had no
well,
choice
well,
to talk to them. And then
yes.
that was a joke. It became an argument
Right.
from me, because they basically made me feel like it really wasn't important.
important, right.
Like, let
So-
me follow up because I have to, but it ain't important. Boy,
Right.
baby, I'm sorry.
So we basically, I mean, we tried to go through all avenues. We did investigative stuff on our own. We went to different things, like I said earlier.
Private
Gone to the
investigators.
police. You've been
we went
private
to police.
investigators.
Nothing was working. So it's like, at this point, what can we do? That's why, and then my husband said to me one day, well, Alice, you know, I had an issue with a lot of the girls. This was before the movie even came out. I had an issue with a lot of the ladies or people that were coming forward saying stuff to us, saying, oh, well, you know what I mean? Yes, he had us do this and he had us do that, and we slept with other, you know, young girls and stuff. And I'm like, okay, but at the end of the day, you are a victim. However, you are still an accessory to a crime because you're an adult.
Yeah.
You witnessed it. You saw it. Why you did not report it to the police, or why didn't you do this? Because you still have a due diligence to do that as a law-abiding citizen. You know what I mean? Why are you saying this to me now and this, that, and other? Why you didn't reach out beforehand and say it? You know what I mean? You wait till my daughter turned 18, whereas though I have no legal, you know what I mean, that standpoint that I can go out and get my daughter. So in that sense, my husband was like, well, in a sense, they don't want to come forward and they don't have to, but you're doing the same thing. You're not coming forward and sharing your story, so therefore, how's anybody going to know? And it's that number. So that's why we actually ended up becoming more vocal in the fight because
you understood you had to control the narrative because no one else was going to stand up.
Nobody else was going to stand up. And we were the ones, us along with the Savages, were the ones who brought this to different outlets to try to get it out there in hopes that maybe this may bring this man to justice so that our girls can come home. That's how, because people said we wasn't doing anything. How do you think the docuseries came about? You think Lifetime reached out to us? No, they didn't.
They heard something they
you know what I mean? We went and were doing
out there.
different things to try to get this story told so that we could get these girls home by any means necessary.
And
Because unfortunately, Master P talking about what he would do, this, that, and the other.
But he
But I
cleared
think,
it. He
hold
cleared
on.
it.
But I just want to say something, not just him, and other celebrities as well. You guys have, you are big celebrities. You might have R. Kelly number in your phone. You have that ability to call this man and say, hey man, this, that, and the other. Reach out to him. We may, as people, you know what I mean, regular people, you know, don't have that ability. You have unlimited resources. I say to you, you have unlimited resources
Pull
and money.
up. Pull up on them.
Yeah,
Pull
that's
up
what I'm
on
saying.
them.
Why you talking about
Pull
what
up
you would
on
do
them and
if it
say,
was
let's
your
have a
child?
conversation.
If it was your child, but guess what? We did everything we do. You must ain't been to the studio. That thing like Fort Knox. It's got bars on the window and everything else.
Steel
You
doors.
know what I mean? You can't get in there.
And guess
you know
what?
what I mean?
He got police as soon as you come
Right.
around there.
And
So
we got
what they
video
didn't-
footage. We got-
and what they didn't see is the small clip that they did get that wasn't rehearsed, by the way, and none of by far somebody with a camera crew and everybody there. If they really want to know what happened, they should have really put the real play in there. How quick the police got there, first the security got there, and how things went a little transpired between us,
'cause
and
they
then
tried
right
to
after
lock
that,
me up.
police come, and then the first thing they tell us, well, if we have to. If you force us to go in there and make sure that's see if that's your
Somebody
daughter.
getting locked up. And I said, well,
R.
I'm going
Kelly,
to jail.
R. Kelly
Lock me
wants
up.
to press charges on both of y'all, and
Because he said for
wants y'all
vandalism.
locked up for vandalizing his property, damage on his
'Cause we
property.
throwing
And I
rocks.
said,
So he's controlling everybody.
Right.
everybody. So now this
So-
is us in Chicago. My wife again driving to the store, gets a phone call from me. Hey, don't go home. Go straight to the airport. For what? Don't get to the airport. You got your ID? Yeah, get to the airport. That's why you look at us.
I
I'm
have
coming from Ohio, fully
He have
dressed.
on-
It's cold.
he have on
It's
warm
cold.
clothes.
And she's sitting there with shorts
Flip-flops,
on, flip-flops,
no
and a shirt.
coat, no
Because
nothing.
when that call came to me, all I did was drove
The
right
outdoor
from
was
where I
left
was
in the
at.
studio.
Right from where I was at, boom, straight to the airport.
I
and
got
I booked
there.
her flight and my flight right then and there. This and that.
And the phone call was what? Your daughter was left in the studio?
saying
Yes.
that she ready
From
to come
Dominique
home. She
Estate,
ready to come home.
She advised us that Azriel was left in Chicago alone, and this was our opportunity to maybe
No, she
get in
didn't.
there.
She said Azriel was ready to go
Go home. Yeah,
said,
she
but
wanted
she
to
wanted
leave.
her father to come get her.
Right.
And that's what it,
and
as soon
she
as
was
said
left
that,
by
that was it.
herself.
And you have
and
that
this
email?
Was
No, that was a
that was
phone
a phone
call.
call. That was
That
a
was
phone
a phone
call.
call.
So you guys
straight
pulled
to
up?
her. That
Did
was
we
it.
not pull up? Yes. So if you look, people don't understand. If you look at it, what was scripted? I am sitting there in 30-degree weather with flip-flops on and a T-shirt and shorts. Really? Nothing. No coat. No anything. No, because that's how we went. We there doing whatever. What it does not show, with also that Lifetime edited out, was that. Oh, his security. Oh yeah, we were getting ready to fight and everything. I'm bluffing.
They pulled
'cause, like, I'm
up
telling
and made,
you.
listen, they made no mistake.
Oh.
They pulled up and then
Talking
called
about
up
they
to
got guns
pull
and
up.
this, that, and other.
So
And
it
we
was
like,
all
what
good.
the hell?
But
That
see,
don't
this
mean
what this what people don't understand. People don't want to know that because that killed all their talk and this and that. We don't have to talk about this.
We got it on video.
Listen, he knows what he do.
That's what
And
I'm
the
saying.
person that they take up, he has no problem. Well, guess what? Calling that law on you and pressing charges on you. And he has, I'm telling you, anytime you're in Chicago, I've got so many detained, call, sightings, this man in there, this somebody's father, all that, they keep you away from that. And when they want to know about the real secret of the studio, we knew it wasn't our daughter. It wasn't our daughter.
If
You know why
initially-
we stayed so adamant at that?
Because we
at
thought
that
it was
place?
somebody else's
Because we
daughter
knew
that
it
was
was somebody
underage,
else's
and we
child in
wanted
there,
her out.
and we wanted that girl
And
out.
the police
and that police
refused
failed.
to do the wellness check to let us go in there, and they said he said somebody's getting locked up, and I said I will go to jail. I need
been locked
to see.
up in Chicago anyway.
Mm-hmm. I've been locked up a few times, but like I said in the movie, I'll go back again if it's for mine. And I said, well, you know what? Y'all need to open the door. I'll put the handcuffs on, and y'all can take me.
So the girl that was in there was a minor.
We don't know who it was.
We don't know who it was. We couldn't see it. Even though
you agreed on the police terms
They refused.
that hey, all right, somebody can get locked up. Cool, I'll get locked up, but go check that joint.
Yeah,
And they still didn't check it. So they made a threat. So they made a threat that will lock you up if we have to go in there. And then you agreed to the threat, and they still wouldn't do it.
It was mind-boggling.
And unfortunately, Lifetime left all that out as well.
And if you and this is just the God honest truth, because if you two were you a white couple?
Oh yeah, it would have been different.
And you told those police, hey, there's girls in there.
And we asked to do a
wellness
check.
They didn't come around.
Do a wellness check. It would have been a completely
They didn't come around there
story.
for us. When they pulled up, they already knew. They like, oh, what you going? This is R. Kelly stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't know. We could have got mugged. You don't even know what we ran here for.
What was happening?
They already. And then when his staff came, all of them knew each other.
Mm-hmm. They high-fiving. With police, they high-fiving.
Wow. So, you know.
It's just, I feel, as somebody who was molested, as somebody who was mentally enslaved, as a black woman, if these were a different group of girls, Caucasian girls, if this story that was been going on for years, I feel like, and I know that this would have been handled completely different. And that's why it's important for me personally to lend my platform to hear this story and to speak up for black women and for black girls, because I was that black girl who was mentally enslaved. And everybody needs to see that. Everybody needs to understand that these black girls' voices need to be heard. These stories need to be heard. And everyone on social media saying, well, they're grown, they're adults, these women, these girls. The inception of this all happened when they were teenagers. You're thinking from a teenage mind.
And that's what they
They
said.
haven't had much experience yet, because our daughter hadn't really had any experience with any guys except for her boyfriend that she had just started talking to prior to that. Like, she hadn't been dating him for she has no prior experience with any guys. My thing is, I do want to say this before we get off the topic, is when Azriel, when she leaves, from the timeline when we leave the hotel, we go back home, this, that, and other. She reaches out like, I really want to do this. Because we got kind of off topic.
We went in that hotel and toured the hotel. We went in the hotel. They refused to tell us that he was there. We already saw the tour bus.
Oh, that part of the story they told. So we can skip that. So the thing is, when we get back home, right, and we're, she's like, well, Azriel hit us hard. Man, this is my opportunity. I've been doing this since I was such and such. Like, you know what I mean? This man is a musical genius, because she's researching everything, right? This, that, and other. What they didn't show also was that it was a week. We argued. We fought. We missed work. 3 days of work. Like, a few days of work, because this girl, we felt like we couldn't leave her in the house because this and that. She threatened us to, either kill herself again.
Wow.
Or she was going to run away. So for every freaking hater that don't know the story, what I will say to you is, if you don't know the facts, stop running around spreading fiction. Because at the end of the day, you will never walk in my shoes. So don't talk about I gave my daughter away. No, the hell I didn't give my daughter away. I was put in between a rock and a hard spot on making a decision. Do I want to trust that my daughter may really act out on the accusation she just made? Or do I say, okay, let me be clear-headed about this and make a decision that, okay, I'm going to let her go, but there needs to be different, you know what I mean, parameters in place, this, that, and other. So what they don't know is my daughter went from April, from the time she met him, until August. She was going back and forth. She wasn't just with him.
My daughter finished school in Florida. She finished school out for that year.
Going back and forth with you two.
With one of the
somebody in the
family.
family. Okay. Me, him, his brother, my oldest daughter, which also part of the story, it shows my oldest daughter and him got into an altercation and fight. We actually pressed charges, which the Chicago police ran that out for statute of limitations, which we had a police report right here, and they never assigned an investigator, and we called for 2 years to try to get this. Wow. So people don't know the real story. So don't sit there and talk about this, that, and the other. What was done and what wasn't done.
That was something else that was on the media that people like, well, how can a father said when you raise your daughters and your kids a certain way, you know they're gonna look out for each other a certain way. So my oldest daughter was her protection, and make no mistake, she ain't gonna hesitate at all. Hey, Dad. So when that situation happened, and she called us again,
We flew
hey,
out.
Dad, come get me. This ain't going right. This stuff with ads ain't right. We on the plane.
Wow.
We go up
No
there.
work, no nothing. Boom.
We left work.
We booked it. I said, hey, we just booked the flight. We can't get in the next hour, but it's
be
4
there.
hours
We
from
can't-
there. We'll be there in the morning.
Yep.
Boom. We was on the first thing smoking from out of Orlando
There
to
was no
Chicago.
more flights that
We was
night.
there. We get there. She can't tell us because we don't know at that time she was threatened. She just
She was threatened.
She
Azriel.
just threatened my oldest daughter.
daughter
I
was
threatened.
don't tell
Yes.
it after the fight.
She
This
said
and that,
it
but they
wasn't
didn't
really
know she
bad.
recorded it. That was the whole thing. They was trying to get her phone, and she held on to that phone. That's how the fight really kicked off. She kept that phone, and we got receipts on that. We don't put stuff up. We're not media people. He know what all led up to all this, and she didn't say nothing.
When
She
we got
kept
there,
that.
she died
wanted
down.
us-
She was like, yeah, maybe I was just like.
She
blowing it
all
out.
she wanted
She's
us to do
drama
was
queen
get
in the
out of
family.
Chicago.
She
So
just was like, we need to leave.
we
It's
flew
all
home.
good.
She never said nothing for a couple
'Cause
months.
we had
and
to
Flew
then-
home without her or flew home. You
No,
flew
all
home.
of us
All
came
of us
home.
flew home
Okay.
together.
All of us flew home.
But we sat with him and Azriel and Isis, and it was kind of like, okay, everybody meshed like, okay, it really wasn't like that.
No,
The whole
Azriel
story changed.
and
R.
Kelly.
Kelly.
You know, he had Azriel on his side. So their story was the same, and my daughter was like, yeah, you know what, it might have been like that because, I overreacted,
Reacted.
this and that. But the whole time, it wasn't an overreact. My daughter caught him in the room with my daughter. And they tried to say she couldn't go back, and she busted the door open. That was the problem. But she didn't
But
wanna
she
tell
said they
him.
weren't doing anything, just that they were in the room
and my
together.
daughter went off because like you don't belong in the room with him.
Right.
You know, that's
Kid,
not the
why are you
agreement.
in here with her? Right.
Right.
know,
She's there to chaperone and watch.
Right,
him.
she was there to
Exactly.
chaperone. That's what she was
Exactly.
there for.
So-
they left her in the hotel. They had left her in the hotel room. I guess he must have came and picked Azriel up while my daughter was asleep. My oldest daughter, Isis, was asleep. She came. So when she woke up, it was a knock on the door. She said people at the hotel were saying she had to check out. And she was like, why would I check out? I just got here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would I be checking out? Or something like that is how her story went. And so she walked to the studio because she couldn't get neither one of them on the phone.
In the studio right there.
It's
You
like
always
right down
get a
the
hotel
corner.
right near the studio. And that's when she went in looking for them. And then that's what she saw. So mine, she don't tell us everything. We home. She still don't tell us everything.
Yeah.
She just pressing that we need to get Az. But now Az
No,
home.
she didn't even really press it like that.
Because
when we
Az
got
was home. So
Yeah.
Az was home. Her and Az kept getting into
To
it.
it.
I mean, viciously.
Wow.
But that's because they knew what it was.
Right.
So now,
She like, Az, I ain't
convincing
gonna
us-
tell on you. I ain't gonna tell on you, but
Right.
you gotta stop doing.
As
you gotta-
convincing us though, because he could ready to go up. She was only allowed to go to his shows.
Right.
So mine from May, she was only flying wherever
Back and
he
forth.
was performing at.
And
Back
somebody
and
was
forth.
present.
Somebody was always there. So
Present.
that was it, just to see the behind
She
the
was
scenes.
going to these shows
this and
to
that.
shadow the behind the scenes.
That's
That,
it.
that was the intention.
with the chaperone.
That's with chaperones and everything else to go with it, all the way up
We
to
done
me.
been to like some of them. So it
And
was
that's
like,
what I'm saying. Like the
okay.
world don't understand. Like I'm not ashamed of my move because I understood what the music industry is. Why? Because we've been in this so long that we started out trying to get in Disney. We watch kids at Disney. One of Azriel friends that's famous right now, young white kid, and guess what they did? His father, they went in debt, lost their house, and Dr. Phillip. And guess what his son did? They signed the agreement. He was 16, wanted nothing to do with his parents. Cut him off. His parents now living downsized and didn't get nothing. They wind up reconciled over the years, but this is what happened. What people don't understand, the industry starts at 15, 16. You can sign legal documents to say you want nothing to do with your parents.
Yeah. So after all this back and forth, at what point, what was the turning point when you 100% knew this is not right?
Okay,
20
so basically, yeah.
Or
So basically
2016.
was we decided that Azriel could go because of everything that kind of happened, like or whatever. That was in school was starting in August,
School
and
was
he
starting.
said it's touring time. This that, and blah 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 blah. At this time, Azriel is 17. She'll be
She always
18
was
in
17.
3 months, right?
She always
So
was 17.
December the 30th, she'll be So we like, okay, this
90
he
days.
kind of gave her an ultimatum. Either you gonna do this, you gonna be my mentor, blah blah blah. And she
And
was
I'm gonna write your song. So
Mhm.
that's what she was.
and that's
on.
when he was going back and forth
Right,
about.
and I was like,
oh,
well,
we
you
need
ain't
to
give
do
me a
the
price.
song, the
And he
music,
was like,
and
well,
this,
only
that,
way
and
I'm gonna write it if I'm on the road because it just
right,
come
because
to
I'm
me.
starting my new tour.
He
starting.
said, but my new tour starting,
starting.
so how we gonna do this? I said, well, she can't go.
Go.
She got 12th grade. 12
Yeah,
years.
right.
So she already was pitching.
So she going to 12th grade. That was 11th grade.
Yeah,
That
when
was
she met
11th
him.
grade.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she
But
was
she's
finishing.
17.
She,
Remember,
it was
Right.
April
her birthday
finishing.
is at the end of the year, so they always kind of the end of the year
Correct.
kids is
So,
like, you
so
know,
this the thing now. So we going in this. So now, we already we find out when
that
school
they had
started.
already.
They already taught this how deep this was. He already been putting her head with the do.
The
To
same
do
homeschooling
online,
and all that.
She went
But she
to
already had it set up.
she went to her
Obviously,
school.
because she came to us with it. She went to the school.
She
first
went to the school
discussed
and
it.
already had filled out the virtual online school,
Wow.
Oh,
so she could
And then she
travel.
brought it back to us and was like, I can do this. I already talked to my counselors and this, that, and the other.
And
blah,
if
blah,
y'all
blah.
don't agree, I can pull myself out because I don't have to go to school now. Because my daughter don't talk like that. None of my kids ever stopped going to
So
school.
now she
so
had this
like-
new energy.
Mm-hmm.
because he had already
already
gave her
got in her
all the
head.
pieces to the puzzle. So now it was easier for her now to manipulate us
So she
or
made
put us
it-
in a tight situation
right.
where we have to say,
Okay.
well, Al, you know, you said schooling. Now she talking virtual schooling. She already checked into it. We can't even tell her that don't exist, and it was nothing. I mean, we talked to her, so she was like, "This is what I can do. I promise you." So we had a meeting with the school, a meeting with Az right there. We had all the grades. The school we agreed with the virtual schooling. Emails hit me and Alice, but only agreement we had with him where we had to put him on the phone. And that's what he don't know right in front of the school and everything. And the people there, hey, this gonna happen. My other kids cannot travel, so I need somebody from the label to be a guide, a guardian.
chaperone.
Why is she there? That you and her never be around each other. That was in front of people. I can arrange that.
He said he would
About
get back with us.
three, four,
He
about
said he would
3
get back
weeks.
with us to let us know who it would be. We recommended it be a female.
He recommended that.
Yeah,
it
actually,
was gonna be
he
a
said it was
female,
gonna be a
older. She ain't gonna have nothing to do with it. Straight from the label.
Right. And that's how that came
what
about.
more can you
And
get?
so-
That's what we know happens in the
And
industry.
and he advised that at any time that we wanted to come, this, that, and other, we could come. Someone could come, this, that, and other. So we're like, okay. So we did agree because our daughter also gave us the, you know what I mean?
And mine, she's 90 days into
From being
turning
18.
18. So we did the schooling. Everything was working out all the way up to 18. No
The day she
problem.
turned 18, I swear to God,
No problem, man. She was traveling show. Soon she, hey, we in this city. This going great. Everything.
She doing
you
her
know,
schoolwork.
all
She
her
calling
schoolwork
us
getting
up.
done. We
She
don't have no
calling us.
problem. We watching her schoolwork because it hits every time
So
she do
it's
a
seeming
lesson.
like everything is
Everything is
going.
fine.
Everything
right.
is on the up and
she
up.
turned 18. Still, everything is going good, but we start like losing a little bit like contact. Like
No,
when
we
we
know
call,
18 started because she didn't call us on her birthday.
Yeah, she
We
did.
could, that was the first. Soon as she turned 18,
18.
my daughter would have called us. We did not hear from my daughter
we was blowing her
till
phone out.
January the 1st.
And
I
when's
meant
her-
the
when-
31st.
When's her birthday?
The-
December the 30th. Yeah.
So that was already
So a month into 18, y'all had spoken to your daughter.
No, a day.
a day.
Oh,
she
okay.
she 12:30,
Okay.
and her birthday usually, you know, that's the first thing. That's her big thing. Christmas and her birthday. That's her holidays, and nothing. So I was like, you talk to her? She's like, no.
We
Like
was
I've been
blowing her
blowing
phone
up
out.
all day. Happy birthday. My son come in there. My other son, hey, anybody talk to him? My mother,
Right.
nobody.
So to make a long story
So-
short, we contacted her. This and I mean, she was still keeping up. She was doing her schoolwork. This that and other. But now it's not everything on point. Now it's like, okay, it's taking a while for her to get back to us. She not answering the phone. But now we're noticing when we're calling her phone, we're not getting her on anything on her phone. So we got to call him. So now she'll call us back later. Like, you know what I mean?
From
so
her
now,
phone.
Sometimes from her phone, but from his phone. So now I'm like, this, that, and other. So a few months after that, I mean, it's still going on.
No.
No,
but
hold on.
January, no. It
No,
was
it wasn't.
January is when we told her she coming home.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when she texted you that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, let me tell you something.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know what he told you. You think you 18 and you ain't calling back immediately? We can't get a response out these people that supposed to be right there. I said, I don't know what type of games. I'm 18 now.
Yeah,
That's
this
what
is what
she
she
said.
kept saying.
I said, I don't care if you 18. You not doing your music? Yeah, I'm doing my music. They sent us a snippet. Like they was working on music, this hot new song and this and that, had on a voice and everything. It's a lie.
Oh, we even had an interview
Yeah.
with her, and him talking to what's that big guy name?
The one that
Whitney
backed
Houston.
Whitney Houston all that time.
I can't think of
Been behind Whitney
the
Houston
older
for
guy,
years.
the older guy with the I can't think of his name, but
If you
anyway,
pop it up.
Why you the black dude?
White.
white.
Oh,
Clyde Davis?
Clyde Davis.
Clyde
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
With her FaceTiming
Him.
with him.
Mhm.
This how much he was playing up.
Playing us.
If, like Clyde Davis was like, man, if you
Oh,
ain't
yeah, she
signing
did.
her, I'm signing her. I
sound
can
like
see
Whitney,
this and
this
that.
another-
So her head
Wow.
is blown.
Mm-hmm.
She can see all these people and she's in a
Yes.
predicament. So she fighting us with everything.
Till this day, is there any music from her?
No.
None.
And this has been 4 years now.
4 years.
And there's not one song.
Not one song.
Not one track, not one record, not one album.
Not nothing. And that's what the problem, and where our other problem with people that, what I was saying with January was, that's when she sent my wife a message.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm gonna tell you, we was pressing, and I was like, I'm coming up to Chicago. I'm snatching you out. I said, I guarantee you this. When I snatch you, you can holler you 18 all the way back home. That night, my wife woke me up saying, hey, she texted me. She said, long text message, all this. If you try to come get me, this and that, I'm gonna kill myself. So
Wow.
this is what we dealing with.
Some master manipulation
Exactly.
going on.
But now we
Master
know
strategy.
he's pushing the buttons
Yeah.
because he know what to say.
Say. Mhm.
Everything to say. So now we stuck.
Wow.
And so we got to wrap up in just a couple minutes. I know you mentioned to me on the phone, we didn't hit it here, but just confirm with me that you guys found out later on
Yeah.
that
Right.
Everything.
We
was
found
made.
out. We
didn't
found
find-
out. We probably when she was what 18 going on
She
19.
was 19. It
19.
was
We
going on
finally
19.
19. We found out she actually graduated school.
Okay.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
came
that
for
was
the
a
graduation.
mandatory.
That's a funny story as well. Real
Yeah.
not funny.
She came
but-
to the graduation.
She-
Yeah, she
she
had no
walked off
choice.
stage.
We was
She
going
walked
back
off
to
stage.
Chicago,
Mhm.
and we was gonna meet them at the next show if she did not get home
And we was
for
gonna
that
make a scene,
graduation.
yeah.
She came in for a 1-day rehearsal and a
graduation.
1-day graduation.
She didn't do
That was
prom.
it.
She didn't do
and she
anything.
left
And-
right after the graduation.
Oh yes, like literally right after the graduation. She sat and had dinner with us, and then she met him around the block from where we ate at. He had his tour
And-
bus around there.
he not having no face-to-face with y'all.
No, none now. So now it's this everything dictated through her because now she's old enough to talk back to her parents and this and that. And what we didn't know is he feeds them things that make him to make him seem like he's right. What your parents gonna say? Because he's
Oh, yeah,
thinking
if
now
you-
as
if
an
you-
adult,
thinking
so he
ahead.
don't think as a kid. He know how to play as an adult and a kid. So he's telling her, well, your parents gonna say this, they gonna
gonna
say
say-
that, they gonna want to know what's going on with you, they gonna want to know this. This is him. So when we saying it, we watching her like water up when we say his name, and all y'all worry about is him. And I'm like, what? Like, so he counter anything a parent can do
Say or do.
or
He
say,
already counted
and he
you
go
know
back
how
so it look like he's. I told y'all, your parents they ain't happy for you. They jealous of you. This and that. But when I tell you, bro, we saying our daughter 2016. Everybody talking about all these girls get all this, they have that. What they get? My daughter left driving, every type of little tennis shoe. She was making her own little money. She stayed booked on her shows. She had dancers that we took care of, dancers and everything. You look up her whole history. I seen my daughter a year after being with R. Kelly. A year.
We didn't even recognize him.
Not only did we
Wow.
not recognize her, she's still wearing the shit that we bought. How do you come in? The world talking about the money. What money? R. Kelly ain't never gave up
Shit.
no money for nothing.
So she doesn't have her own car.
No, she had
Nothing.
nothing. Half the
Place.
time, and half the time, this was the thing. We were paying her phone bill while
While
she
she
was on
was
the
with him.
road because her phone would go off and we had no connect. Like you know,
And
what I
that's
mean?
what-
so
Had
we
to.
so we
You
had
had
to
to
so
pay
we
the
could
bill.
talk
Yeah.
to her. We would pay the phone bill.
But I know it's something you mentioned to me as we wrap about finding out about things that happened before she was of age.
That's when.
Yeah,
That's when
we found out like later by
Her
like some stuff in
iCloud
her phone. That we found that was very questionable. So now everything's starting to link in. Like, okay, what the hell? Like, we found pictures of them.
No. It wasn't no. We found everything.
We found everything. We
But
found
by
pictures
then,
and text
mine,
messages.
we already
and we
beefing
found
with her 'cause
just all
she's
kinds
grown
of stuff.
now.
But at this point, she is an adult.
But those pictures and
But
text
those
messages.
things all happened as a minor.
Yeah,
Now mine.
happened
now
as a
mine.
minor.
When you trying to fight the way I'm trying to fight, and dude is out arming you every time, but not with other guys that's like you. How do you pick a street war on the police?
Right.
So I want to know what one of these gangsters that's out here, that's on there, that's all loud on the internet,
You're not worried.
come up what they gonna keep doing. I ain't seen not a street gangster go up against the police department yet and win. So I ain't nothing retarded with me. This man don't roll with this security. He rolls with police officers.
They're
That's
they're real off-duty police officers.
Chicago police detectives, everything. That's who around him.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't not no average dudes. There's a few of them that been with him that's security, but the other guys, they Chicago Police Department.
So at the end of the day, you all found evidence of her being under 18 and them having some kind
Having
of
a sexual relationship.
So we went to
Sexual
we
They
went
had a sexual
we went to the
relationship,
authorities.
brother, at that Monday in the hotel.
We
So
went
Monday
to
after the concert.
After the con, when he went there, it wasn't like she said.
When she
He
left
did
school,
the
when she
interview.
left-
That's how he do him. He get him in the interview, and he tell him to dance. And the crazy
walk
part, right?
or something.
This the crazy
Or
part.
sing.
She didn't know we had this. When we met all these other little young victims, they said the same
thing.
exact thing that we reading now. Now we reading this. This a year before them, and they coming out now 4 and 5 years before my daughter and saying, yeah, he took me in a room. He told me the model. He wanted me to walk. He made me take off my clothes. He wanted to see me in my panties. And it never, like he's going to put them on modeling and all that. Then the next thing you know, he forced himself on you.
Yeah.
He act like he's so excited he got to have you, and he forced him on.
So we
So
found
that's
all
where
this
people
stuff
understand where
after
rape
we had
come in.
completely lost contact.
It's not
with her,
these girls
this, that,
want
and
to
the other.
have sex with him. He put them in a predicament where, hey, you naked.
You might
I'm
as well.
R. Kelly.
You might as well.
You turned me on, baby.
So we have clear, factual, statutory rape.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they been had this. When I'm telling you these
And
stories is
unfortunately,
out and people saying the story's not out, the stories are out. The
We know
story's
this,
been out, and
the
they just
police have
never
done
did
nothing.
nothing
The
to
authorities
do.
facts.
The
That's-
authorities
that's-
said that we as parents could not press charges. Our daughter, as the victim, had to come forward.
Because
even
we
though
didn't find out
had-
because she was 18.
after she was
And that was in
even though
Florida.
they know what happened when she was 17.
Yeah.
And that's in Florida.
Yes. That's in the state
That's
of
in the
Florida.
state of Florida.
'Cause that's where it happened.
But it should.
So
There's-
part
wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Part of what I want to just say to our audience that's watching is, amongst many things, this is exactly part of why I wanted to have this moment of truth and exposure, and even sacrificing our time, so to speak, to interrupt our day to do this, because you talk about real people lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about a real. See, I got a 19-year-old daughter who was once 17, who was once in school, and I know how impressionable they are. And for her to be a week from having committed attempted suicide, a week from attempted suicide, her parents trying to work with her and heal her, to meeting this mega star with questionable things around, but whatever. But for this man to be in his 40s, 50s, or whatever age it was, and to be with the parents having proof, evidence, receipts of him having a sexual relationship with her while she's a junior in high school, just a week after attempted suicide, like, I don't want to hear none of that you're talking about. Like, I want to hear what they talking about, because that's what's important.
And I think this also brings up, I'm so glad we had this conversation, because this is really birthing so many other conversations in our community. We're talking about legislation now, attempted suicide.
We
These
got
things are things
Pedophilia,
that pedophilia,
exactly.
molestation, perversion,
Community support.
and how we really view and look at celebrities, and how we put these big names and celebrities on pedestals. These are all conversations that we need to have, and it's really starting right here. And I applaud you guys for sharing your story, being so vulnerable, and telling your truth on our platform. there's so many conversations
And
here.
that's the thing what people don't
It's
understand.
a lot more to the
It's-
story.
I know it is.
But unfortunately, it's not enough time to tell
It's-
We
everything.
gonna get some more
It's
time.
not-
We
it's
gotta
not-
come to y'all next time. We gonna get some more
It's
time.
not about about your money. You make people. That's your wealth for your family. People don't understand when you get a broad platform like anybody in the city, for any street dudes, a good working dude, a successful dude that invented something in your city. Support that person because of when he get the support. It's not about the money. It's about what he do to build that legacy to get that money. So when a dude become a name in there, it's not because he getting money. You got an average dude, anybody get money, but to be a boss and get money is two different things. To be a king and recognized as a real man that's two different levels. Everybody at 21 is a man. But the difference is what you do with your platform for all these other people.
Yes.
That's what make me say, hey, salutes to somebody like Master P, jump right back up there and do it. Salutes to these people here that openly
To
come
John
out,
Legend,
calm and
who's-
John Legend,
John
all
Legend.
these
Meek
people
Mill,
who,
Chance
the
Meek Mill,
Rapper.
major salutes to Meek Mill, Future,
Right.
hey man, we
Yeah,
still
Tank.
talking about this dude,
Tank,
you know,
yes.
Tank,
Everybody who wanted to
for
Jada
Tank,
Pinkett Smith.
Tank,
Right.
Tank
Yes,
that
Jada Pinkett
retracted
Smith.
everything, and Jada's my homegirl, major shouts, and I reached out. We definitely need to touch on this because she was one of the first on the acting side to really go forward. And she, you know, what touch was, she said she was there with her daughter. Because what I'm telling y'all about Lifetime, everybody that has a child need to watch this. Every adult need to watch it and stop looking for the blame in it and look at the blessing in it. Because at the end of the day, this shows that we have a major problem, a major disconnect with us as kings. We are sitting around letting these girls get damaged, get beat outside of my situation, because my situation I have to deal with. That my situation I have to deal with. Allah chose me because this is what it needed to be carried so it can stop with him. But guess what? Everybody, and these to the women, all the women that had something to say, and they say they got daughters. Remember this, you was 17. You was 16. And I guarantee you had a dude in your life that you ran away with, did some things you wasn't supposed to do. Your parents didn't, whether it was use drugs, do this, do that, whatever it was. And remember this, they are Kellys that you with. The difference is they just not on a platform.
That he had.
The ones that the older dude you like in the neighborhood that put you on weed, the older dude that take you down there, buy you some tennis to trick you out. Guess what? They all are R. Kellys. Every last one of them is R. Kelly. So let's not stop the platform for this guy. We got to keep going, because it's a lot of R. Kellys all around that nobody's talking about.
Well,
Because
the problem is that so many of them that they don't want their spots blown up, so
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
nobody wants to speak up.
A lot of
They-
skeletons
'cause
in
they
a lot
don't-
of closets.
They got,
Hey.
got a lot of them skeletons, and what I want to say is, my wife was saying, keep the conversation going. I feel I agreed. The conversation exposes and it sets it, but for me, as a man, I feel like this is the time to set new standards in the community.
Yes.
Like it got, like, how'd you say? It got to be a standard, bro. It is what it is.
All right, man.
And that's why I told people, I said, listen, you could like. We on different moral planes, different moral values, different character values, different value systems. You don't gotta even learn from me. You ain't gotta follow me. You ain't gotta support me. But there should be certain standards when it comes to just certain things, especially when it comes to young women or girls. Like, listen, I'm a man like the rest of us. Men like women, cool. But if you ain't got enough discipline or your sexual fantasies or whatever it is involves children and all of that, like that's something you need to get help with. I just don't condone. I don't play that. Ain't no excuse for that. And I just feel like, as men in our community, and as those who are looking to uplift and repair our community, it starts with these intimate conversations and
Absolutely.
relationships. So I'm just saying, as a father to a father, as a black man to a black man, and as a black married couple to a black married couple. It's like I feel whenever within my capacity, whatever again spiritually led to, whatever, it's my duty, it's my job to support you however I can support you. It might be in private, it might be in public, whatever it is, but I just feel like we gotta have a sense of duty to one another.
Yes.
That's community.
Exactly.
That's
And
village.
to your point, like you said, it is a community, it is a village. For people asking, but why get involved, or why use your voice, or why use your platform? Because we cannot nation build until we community build, and we cannot community build until we relationship
That's right.
build. And the
That's
relationship starts right here in your intimate community with your peers. And for those of you saying, well, you know, it's not your business, it is your business, because this could have been your mother, this could have been your aunt, that could have been your cousin, that could have been your daughter, that could have been your granddaughter, that could have been your best friend you went to school with. So it is our duty to stand up for each other and community build right here and relationship build right here.
If this ain't our business, then Mike Brown ain't our business. The Eric Garner
Freddie
ain't our
Gray wasn't
business.
our business.
Freddie Gray,
Trayvon
Trayvon
Martin
Martin,
wasn't our
Sandra
business.
Bland, and none of it's our business then if it ain't our business.
It has to be your business.
And so we
Because
want
this is the community. It has to be your business.
Yeah, so again, King, appreciate you.
Hey, brother.
Yes,
Queen,
guys.
thank y'all for standing up for your
Yeah.
family, your daughter. Again, our heart goes out to you. You know, this is not where it stops, but we at least want to offer this moment of clarity. Hopefully for some of you all, you had light bulb moments. Hopefully your spirit is speaking to you. You have a level of empathy,
Yes.
right? Even if you don't agree with whatever, have a level of empathy, right? Moral compassion and concern. And, you know, I just kind of want to leave with that. So much to say. Again, I'm just glad that we could be in a position to, again, whatever this does,
Yeah.
offer and shed some light.
And Jay, let me say one other thing, right? That's really, I think is real important. Let them know a little bit about me. Through this, this is important. You don't even know, because through this, right, of me fighting this war behind the scene with my wife, my family, my mother, everybody, right? I take in young brothers, young kids, the same people that's running around talking behind social media. I probably got their son with me, you know, and I bring them to different cities. I give them opportunity to learn a trade with a paycheck. I don't care about they felons. I don't care, because that's what they give us a strike to never have them succeed. I'm showing them how to become entrepreneurs and themselves. And guess what? Ain't none of it paid for by nobody but me. I'm the one helped them get there. I have one backing that's a phenomenal person. I'm not going to say he hate the camera. Phenomenal. And the difference is he's not black. That's the difference. And he's 100% stand behind. And I'm grabbing him. I have 7 kids now in Vegas. I'm going to have another 8 in 4 weeks in Florida. Learning 8 new ones to teach them how to polish, commercial floor polish on $30,000 machines that's nobody gave a handout for. And guess what? I'm helping out with other people by giving your child a chance. You ain't paying me, and I ain't putting this out there for people to say, oh, this he gloating, but what he do? No, I'm not. When I'm telling you, I've always been working behind the scene. And anybody know me and why they fight for me on Facebook and all that is because I always looked out for the females, the young females, the older females, the addicts, the fiends, whatever it is, whatever your misfortune is, you lost your job, I was there to help. So this is what was instilled from me from my mother. So don't get this twisted that this is about my daughter. I don't have a book deal coming or none of that. I could have been wrote 10 books. I got 4 books right now that come from my life. I can't tell my daughter's story. That's for her. I could have easily sold something quick and got something. We're not getting paid for these outings that you see us at. You don't see a check coming there. Everything we do, we paying for. We paying for.
Being a real
So,
man in
you
real
know,
life.
that's what I'm doing.
I do want to end as we end, and I'm so grateful that God continues to use Jay and I and our voices and our platforms and just the way we care about our community. We are our own solutions to all of our problems. All of the problems that plague our community, the solutions are all right here. And until we start loving one another, loving ourselves, being engaged, communicating, relationship building, we will stay in the same situations that we have been in for hundreds and hundreds of years. So why Jay and I use our platform is because we are trying to create solutions instead of continue to talk about the problems.
Absolutely. With that, we thank everybody for joining us for this time. Again, thank you guys for flying out on your own dime.
Yeah.
To fight and do what you can for your child, and we are just again honored and feel it's our duty as community members just to do what we can realistically within our capacities to support you. And so we bring back our girls, bring back Azriel.
Yes.
We hope she comes back in good health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, and her story will likely, and again, like you said, Allah called us for this moment. Her story may change many of lives.
Yes.
There may be a whole shift in our community, within pop culture, within our generations, all from this trauma and trial. So much probably will come out of it. That's how the universe and how God works. And
Yeah.
so again, thank y'all,
And
everybody.
it doesn't end here. We're gonna keep going.
Yup.
And Chicago, thank y'all. This is a lot of people that I do want to say.
Yeah,
in
Chicago linked this up. Chicago
And I
linked this
tell
up.
you,
Chi-Town.
Chicago is feeling it, and they have supporting us. I appreciate every one of y'all that's on the ground and keeping us a beef with every movement of Chicago. And I see y'all real soon, because I'm back up there on Monday.
Community. Did you want to end
I
with it?
did want to say something real quick. Again, not to seem like we're bashing Lifetime, we do want to thank them for giving us the opportunity and
Yes.
the platform.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for them, the awareness wouldn't be there. Second thing is, I do want to say that dang, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Don't worry, it's a
Well,
lot going on.
it doesn't end here. We're definitely going to continue the conversation and keep this conversation going live stream. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see everybody on the next
All right,
go
peace
round.
out.
Bye,
Peace.
guys. Bye, family.